Hey everybody, welcome to the Rock Oath, episode 12. Once again, I'm your host, Mike Schoen, singer of the band 22 Salute, and today we have a very special episode for two reasons. One reason being is we usually have our guests come in the studio in person, but this time, our first time doing this is remote, doing it online, we'll see how this goes. But more importantly today, more special reason is at the headliner spot, we have professional drummer and most notably drummer of the band Sum 41, Mr. Frank Zummo. How you doing, brother?
Hey, dude. How are you, man?
Doing really good. Thank you so much for coming on the show. A guy as busy as you, and the guy that's done as much as you've done everything to come to a growing podcast like us means a lot, dude. Thank you so much.
Yeah, all good, man.
Yeah, dude. We're here in Southern California. I know you're on a little break. You've been doing lately? Like in the last day? You say you're taking a break right now, but in the last few days, what have you been up to?
Yeah, we kind of hit it hard after just not touring for almost 2.5 years because of the pandemic. We basically went out in April and went, till basically December.
Jeez.
Went a lot of places.
Oh,
did a
God.
full U.S. run, Europe 2 times, Australia, Canada. I mean, we hit it hard. So we took a break from Christmas until next month, and then next month we head over to Asia and just kick in again. So it's just been good to have a little break after just the insane nonstop touring we did. And I've just been spending a lot of family time and then doing a lot of amazing workshops for the kids at School of Rock. I was actually just in Southern California this past weekend and did a really big workshop at Van's headquarters. We brought in like 6 of the local, LA to OC School of Rock kids, and it was just the biggest one I've ever done. It was just so incredible, just getting to jam with a bunch of incredible upcoming musicians and getting to hang with them and, all that stuff. So, I've been doing those on our break, and now I've got a bunch more coming up the rest of this year. So man, it's been good. Just, music and then some.
Right on, man. Well, dude, yeah. So, and like I said, I could tell. I've been checking your Instagram out, and you are very busy. So this is I know we only got an hour with you today, so we'll try to make this all fast for you and get you on your way. So on the show, I brought this up to you a little bit. We have a thing called a set list. We also have a thing called a couch contributor, which is another guy sitting literally on a couch, and he like comments in, and it's kind of the comedic relief. But we're not going to have him today. This is a different format today a little bit, but we still will have the set list. So what I'll do is I will jot it off real quick. I'll just mention all of it, and then we'll just get rolling, man. So is that cool?
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So first on the set list, and usually on the set list, this is we always do the headliner, which is you. So first on the set list is Frank Zummo. Basically, we're to talk about your projects, all this like other things that you're doing, your solo stuff, and anything basically outside of Sum 41, if that's cool. Because on the second on the set list, we are doing Sum 41. That's the second thing on the set list. We'll be talking about basically how you got into the band and what's been a little more in depth of what's going on now and what might, maybe you can give us a little insight on what will be happening in the future if you're allowed to. Tell us that. And then, so I got my papers here. I got computers and papers. We got third on the set list. We're going to do gear talk. So basically, I would like to talk about basically your gear, just what you like to play, maybe stuff that you've used in the past, and what you're working on, and who, if you have any endorsements or anything that you do, that'd be awesome. That's always a fun segment for any musicians watching. So cool. And then fourth on the set list, we're gonna do show horror stories. This is kind of a staple of the show. Basically, if you don't mind telling us maybe giving us a story on like a show or even anything on the road that didn't go according to plan, or something that just like basically you go to bed and you're like, oh man, I can't wait for this day to end. If you can give us a story, if not, that's cool too. But that's usually a pretty fun part of the show, and we've had a lot of good ones actually. Some funny, some dramatic actually. But let's see, maybe you can top them. I don't know. But anyways, fifth on the set list today, we're gonna do Q&A, an extra Q&A. I've had some extra questions that might be in topic to what we've already talked about, or maybe not. we'll do some extra Q&As. And then sixth on the set list, we're just going to do closures and plugins and let you plug in anything you want to do, and we'll sign off. So is that cool, Frank?
That's super cool. And that's a first. I've never done, something with that kind of format, which is cool. I mean, you've got to just, those are the things, I always talk about at my workshops, when kids are, new bands coming out, it's like, how do you stand out from all the podcasts?
Yeah.
Like for this thing, like I have to tell the kids, how do you stand out from all the other bands?
Yep.
All that kind of stuff. Because there's a lot of noise out of there, and it's cool that you have, you found your really cool kind of format to make things different, and it just totally makes sense with a music-based show. It's kind of like the headliner, the set list.
Yeah.
It's cool, man. It's
thanks, man.
a very cool concept, and definitely it's the first I've encountered, which is cool, man.
Cool, man. Well, I hope you enjoy this. Maybe it's a little different from the other ones. So sometimes like we make it, we switch it up. I'm like, I wonder if people are gonna like this or think it's dumb. But we're like, all right, let's just do it the way we want to do it, So I appreciate that. Yeah, and we also usually if we're drinking beers, we say Freebird to pass a beer to everyone. We're trying to make this like rock, like just kind of gimmicky stuff, just for fun. It makes it fun. But all right, but hey, let's get on with the set list. We're gonna go with first off the headliner, Frank Zummo. We want to just go through like the special stuff that you've been doing outside of Sum 41. Let's I've been checking your Instagram. I've been seeing everything you're doing, and you seem like a very, very busy guy. I was like, man, this guy's doing everything. And I put a list on here of what I've seen you've been doing. Let's go back to the Vans, the School of Rock. That's kind of the most recent thing you've been doing. Can you elaborate a little more on that? That's totally Vans, right? They run the whole thing?
It's yeah, I mean it's basically it's such a passion project, and it's just something that's so beautiful in every way. I've been doing it for years now, and it's just kind of gotten to the point now where they're just massive, they're really big workshops. And kind of the back history on it, when I was coming up, you didn't have anything like this. You had very, drum clinics or like workshops that were just very, very technical, master classy. They were just very much in a certain lane. And, I just was inspired to just change it up and say, you know what, like I want to make a place where, it's not just for drummers, it's for musicians, it's for families. There's a place to come, express yourself, be inspired, have a hang, and get to jam like with these incredible kids. Like, I didn't have these opportunities coming up. And I mean, can you imagine when we were coming up, if you were like, yo, go to this workshop and get to jam with somebody that you look up to and so forth and so on, get to hang, ask some questions about life, all that stuff. So it's just, in the pandemic, I was lucky enough that the School of Rocks were still open. So I was able to go to the schools and do a very, very, stripped down version of the workshops. Because in the past, like literally right before the pandemic hit, we were doing a full-blown touring version of it, across the US. It was a big production. We were doing them at Vans skate parks and record shops and like cool places that kids would want to go for an event to just have this rad, space. And pandemic happens, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna just go to the kids at the school. It'll just be for the teachers, the kids. I'll get in literally their lesson rooms. They all sat on the floor, and I jammed with them and just got to really be there for them. And kind of we were all going through it together, and it was really beautiful. And then coming out of that, I started touring it again. And this year we were basically like, instead of touring it, let's go to one market, because there's hundreds of School of Rocks, in America and just all over the world. And we said, let's pick one market and bring in multiple schools. And each School of Rock, there's a thing that you have to work to get in. It's called a house band, where they've got, the keyboard player, singers, all that. And these kids are just incredible. So we basically would bring in like 6 to 8 schools that are in the surrounding area. Like we did this in Denver. We did this in Orange County, California, and basically bring, these 6 or 7 schools. They do mini sets. Each school will get up there and do a little mini set. And then each school will play a Sum 41 song with me
Oh, hey.
and their drummer. So
That's
it's
so
double
cool.
drummers, band. And then I'll do like a little performance myself where I'm just playing like crazy medleys and things of
Cool.
solo music, Sum 41. And then it's just like a hang, just a hang with the kids, Q&A, meet and greet. It's totally organic. I really don't plan anything. The kids dictate the way it goes, which is amazing. And, we just did the one at Vans and it was incredible. Like the kids got to go to Vans
Yeah.
headquarters. And we made like a day festival out of it. The owner was there, showed up on a giant shoe car, drove it into the space. He was like grilling for all the kids. I mean, like just an incredible, experience. We're bringing in, a teen suicide prevention charity now. Just to like, if kids need help, we have them here for you if you need it, like stuff like that. So, um, I'm about to announce a bunch more that we'll be doing this year.
Right
And,
on.
it's really incredible. Vans, is a big component to that, to help make these events free for the kids and their families. And it's been so incredible. And it's just amazing to see, how much it's grown, and the love, the community support for these events. It's super special.
Very cool, man. So are you like are you one of the main hosts of it, or how does that work? Are you like for a section or like for the whole thing? If you don't mind elaborating on that.
Yeah, like so School of Rock, basically their musical director is there kind of emceeing and helping with, getting the bands off and on stage and announcing each school and all
Mm-hmm.
that. Um, and I'm the workshop, kind of part of it, where it's just me, and
Yeah.
then like I had, Mike from SJC Drums come out and, SJC Drums is a huge part of this whole thing as
Okay.
well. But I mean, each one's different, which is what's great about it. But, it's basically a collective between School of Rock, myself, SJC Drums, and Vans, and we just make these awesome events for kids, and it's
That's
just like the connection that we get to have and just that hang time with parents and all that. We bring so much rad swag to gift
yeah.
these kids really cool inspiring stuff. Like it's really fun.
Yeah, dude, that seems like a really cool community for these kids to be a part of. It's not just finding your little, not clique, but your little group in school. You can actually find another like purpose outside of like these kids in high school and middle school. They can go to this kind of thing, and that's a pretty big deal. Yeah, like I said, even me, I didn't have anything like that growing up. Did you do you give any lessons for this, or like personal lessons, or is it just kind of like the workshop thing? Yeah.
Yeah, just like, the workshop, and the workshop part's a very loose term, like I think like what's so special about it is most of the questions the kids ask is just about like life stuff,
Yeah.
wellness stuff, mental health stuff, like, yeah, there's a couple like, drum
Like,
questions
or
or,
check this out, or try this, and
yeah, it's more life, which
yeah.
is really important. So yeah, I mean, I think it's just like it's just got so many great parts of it, and in every way. And it's just like they're just so fun. It's just the funniest thing. Like, we were there from I think noon to 4 the other
Hmm.
day. It's just like a whole day of just so much stuff going on. And these kids rip. I mean, it's so
Yeah.
inspiring to see. Like, there was one band, these kids were little, dude, and they were playing Judas Priest Painkiller, like ripping.
You're like,
Like, and
jeez.
it's just so inspiring to just see the new talent, and it's also like to give them this little, like, you know, boost of their career, like we were doing morning news shows, on past tours, and I'd be bringing like some of these drummers to perform with me on the morning news. So they're like, they're on the morning news in their city,
Jeez.
and it's like, yo,
That's
this is
huge.
helping your resume and your just everything with like that little boost to just kind of send them on their way,
That is huge.
um, which is super special.
Yeah, man. That's does does Vans run every School of Rock? Is it like that's the name School of Rock, and that's Vans runs it all? Are they like the main
No,
sponsor?
Vans just is helping like sponsor the event.
Gotcha,
School of
gotcha.
Rock is its
Oh,
own thing.
okay.
And yeah, they've got music schools to learn lessons all over the world. And Vans is helping
Gotcha.
as a sponsorship side to hook these kids up with rad swag to, help get me from point A to point B. And,
Yeah.
I mean, they just, are helping donate to charities that are involved in the event. It's just a really cool community. And it's just rad to see all these venues, they care. They care about this stuff. I mean, like
Totally.
literally the owner of Vans was there, loading things in, loading things out, being there for the kids. Like it's just things you don't really see at a company that's big.
Yeah.
And I think that's why they are that big, because they care that much and they're just so rad. And
Shows their
it,
character. Yep.
exactly. Yeah.
Dude, right on, man. So that's definitely awesome. You've been doing that, and I especially after the pandemic, that's something really good to kick off music again, for crying out loud. I mean, I feel like the pandemic totally put a what, I don't know, I don't have an analogy, but it just put a damper on everything for music, and for all that stuff to be coming back, it's like, thank God, finally, man.
Absolutely.
So aside from that, you what other? I see that you're doing like I saw Leah Culver. You're doing drums for her now, and you're doing some other drumming projects for people. Could you elaborate on what you've been doing? Like
Yeah.
yeah,
Going back to like pandemic, you know, we couldn't tour, obviously.
yeah,
Nobody could tour. And we were just kind of winding down on an album cycle. So we kind of, took a break, certain band members were having babies and needed family time and all that.
yeah,
We were, going hard at that point. So I was just like, okay, I personally can't stop. Like I need
yeah.
to, this is my life, for my own mental health, everything. Like I need to keep pushing through. So, I had started a solo project, prior to that. And I was like, okay, now I can immerse myself in it.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody that I want to work with is home and wants to create. We're all going through the same stuff. So I was just like, I'm going to go and make a bunch of music. And basically, you know, it's me writing and playing drums and all that. And then I have a different singer on each track, a different producer on each track. And I wound up putting out a ton of music from, the pandemic to this day, and really kind of built what my solo live show was. Because for years I had been, popping on emo nights here and there,
Yeah.
where I'd like do a drum / DJ set. And I just, wanted to enhance that and really, make it its own thing. So now having a bunch of original music, I put together, because obviously the only shows we could do in the pandemic was streaming. I put together streaming shows where I was just like, okay, I'm a drummer, and to launch my solo project, I don't just want to be like in a basement just playing drums to a track. Like I want to give people entertainment.
Yep.
So I went into like massive warehouses and brought in crazy production, had lasers and the drums going up and down on lifts. And, but it was cool because I got to build my live show and have the time to do that. So, out of the pandemic, like I started doing, live shows. And, last year it was my first festivals. I did festivals around the world, just me.
Oh, wow.
Me drumming, emceeing, DJing, and it was incredible because I had no idea what to think. I went out to UK and Czech Republic and did these festivals.
This is the first time
I'm
doing
like
it,
first or second. Yeah, I'm like first or second on, and these giant freaking tents.
Jeez.
And I walked out there and there was like 3,000 people. It was insane, and it's just me.
Like,
And it was just like the most incredible feeling, to see, because I didn't, normally you play this music and you get to go out and play it live. I didn't because of, the delay of the pandemic and all that. So it's just so fun. It's another creative outlet.
Definitely.
So yes, I'm right now, because Sum 41's been on a break, I've just been tracking drums for a bunch of new music.
Mm-hmm.
So basically this spring forward, I'm going to have a ton of new music coming out. There's a bunch of shows being booked right now.
Wow.
With the solo stuff. So between, the workshops and the solo stuff, I'm going to be busy doing those two things, around the Sum 41 schedule, which sometimes I'll do it even on tour with some, I'll do it on a day off or as an after party or earlier in the day, if some's playing later. I love it. I just
Dude.
love to be busy, and I love to just, get all
Yeah.
these creative
You
sides
don't
out.
you don't stop. Your calendar must be like pretty booked up, man. That's insane to do that, especially when you're touring some for one to intertwine that within there. That's insane. I'm sure there's not a day you don't pick your drumsticks up, huh?
Um, I mean, I definitely, you know, go hard, but I also know how to, take a day off
Wind
when it's
down.
needed and just take care of my body and,
You
and
have
do all
to.
the things that, I need to operate at to
Yeah.
be able to, pull all this off.
Yeah, if you don't recharge your batteries, man, it's like you can just drive yourself into the ground for sure. So, all right, tell us if you don't mind, tell us a little bit about this XPT Life 777. It seems like you've been freezing your ass off. I've seen some of these videos. What's up with that?
Yeah, I mean, it's dear friends of mine have this incredible fitness company, where they basically, it's called XPT, and it's, I mean, all kinds of stuff: breath work, workouts, pool training, where you're doing what you do on land with weights in the water. It's just something that changed my life.
Oh wow.
And, it's now how I live my life, how I train. And, yeah, they basically, they taught me years ago about the hot and cold therapy, which has
Mm-hmm.
been like the greatest thing for me as, as just a drummer, for my body, for my mind,
Mm-hmm.
all this stuff. And they just did, yeah, a 7-day challenge where, you had to have some kind of cold exposure, um, you know, for 7 straight days. And I was actually traveling, which made it, because, at home, I just have a cold plunge tub
Yeah, you
that
know.
I'll get in, every day. But, I was all over the place. I was with my family on vacation in Lake Tahoe. Then I was home. Then I was in Orange County doing the workshop. So it's kind of fun. It's like a new addiction. Every time I see like a body of water or some kind of something, I'm like, okay, how do I get in that and do that? And like the day that the challenge kicked off, I was in freaking Lake Tahoe, and I was at the lake. The whole beach was snow, like so
Jeez.
high. And I'm like, this water's probably a couple degrees colder than my plunge. Like, I'm just gonna get in. And I'm literally like there with my family. No one was on the beach. Just got down to my underwear and got in and started the challenge that day, which was pretty amazing. And then
Yeah.
we were, in the snow. So I was like, I'm gonna get out in the snow, and like just different shit to just
Yeah.
like, it was fun. Cold showers. I mean,
Yeah.
all this
That's
stuff. But like, the main thing is just it's like it's so good for you.
Yeah,
It's
that's what,
just cold
and I was about to
exposure.
say it's really good for you. Like, well, it releases things in you, and it like just I don't know all the scientific health reasons, but I've read about it before, and it's just really good. They say you should take cold showers, you should do all that stuff for inflammation's one. I'm sure as a drummer, does that help a little bit for inflammation?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's a game changer for that. It's just, you sleep better. It's better for your, I mean,
Everything.
mental health. I
Jeez.
mean, the health benefits to your body is insane. I mean, like getting in the cold for males, it boosts your testosterone. I mean, there's just so many
Wow.
things. And it's like, we live in a world now where, this is how, the cavemen rolled. This
Yeah.
was life. Now we live in a world where every room you go in and everything you do, it's temperature controlled.
Yeah.
You never have to like your body never has to go into that like, fight or
Extremities.
flight kind of,
Yeah.
things, because we live in such a comfortable thing. So it's good to keep
Those
those things
natural
fired.
defenses rolling, in your body. Absolutely. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's that's I've tried the cold shower. I did go through a spree of doing it, and then I got off the band. I mean, I got off the track for a little bit, but I do know that it feels good when you get
Easiest
out of the
way,
shower.
dude, the easiest way is for the last, start gradually. For the last, 15 seconds of your shower, just turn it cold, and then start going, see if you can do a minute, 30 seconds, then a minute. And, I basically do like 3 to 3.5 minutes, a day, because it's so extreme, the
Yeah. Oh
temperature.
yeah.
But I love it, man. I'm addicted now. It's like,
That's
it's
awesome.
awesome.
I'm gonna have to start trying that, man. Dude, all right. So we're gonna get run through the set list. I have one more question, and this I guess this could be in the extra Q&As, but I'll just throw it in here now. This is now maybe getting off from maybe what you've been doing currently. In the past, you were 18 years with Street Drum Corps, and That's no longer a thing. Was that a pretty cool part of your life? How you
That
know?
was, I mean, an incredible journey. I mean, that's really what like, really kickstarted my career.
Hmm.
On a major like touring, recording, I mean, all of that, building it into a company. And it is still it's still going. I just had to, step down just because,
Busy.
you know, life life is just, at there's different things in my life that I want now. There's my time is needed in certain other areas.
Yep.
I kind of had like my plan of and dreams of what I wanted to do, and I checked those boxes, which is incredible. And it was just time to move on,
Yep.
and focus on different things. And but I mean, it was one of the biggest parts of my career. I mean, it's actually, you know, in a sense, it's actually how I know the Sum 41 guys too.
Oh,
Like
really?
relationships. I mean, all that. It's just it's pretty. It's a special part of my life, and you know, what a run. I mean,
Absolutely.
that was a really long run for sure.
Yeah, 18 years, man. That's crazy. Dude, that's a perfect segue into the next segment of the set list, which is Sum 41, which I'd like to get into, because the first question I wanted to ask you is, with the departure of Steve-O in 2013, you came in. Would you elaborate maybe a little bit of how that all happened?
Yeah, I mean, with Street Drum Corps and all that, we toured Warp Tour together in Canada with Sum 41, years ago, and met the dudes. And then Derek and I, just had a lot of friends in common. We were both living in LA, and I would just see him out all the time. We just became good
Oh,
friends.
really?
And when Street Drum Corps had a residency in Las Vegas, we would add like all these awesome musicians, as special guests. And for our opening night, Derek was one of our guests, and it was the first time we ever played together.
Okay.
And I mean, Sum 41's, was one of my, was one of my favorite bands,
That's awesome.
and when I saw them live on the Warp Tour, it was one of the most powerful things that I've ever seen, and like just seeing what incredible, powerful, commanding frontman, Derek
Yeah.
is. And then when I got to sit behind the kit and feel that on stage, with just when he walks on stage, just that energy, it's just such a magical thing he has.
The
I was
eruption
like,
of the
holy
crowd.
shit.
Yeah, dude.
And like right after that residency, Steve left the band, and I just hit up Derek, and I was just like, dude, like whenever you're ready to jam again, I would love the opportunity to jam with you. And he was like, I'm having a party this weekend. Come on over and jam. And we just like,
What?
I would just keep going over there with him and buddies, not just playing cover songs, playing the cover songs, having fun. It was very casual. And then it was like, hey, come over, let's play a couple of Sum 41 songs, and then when it got serious, he invited the band. The band came out to LA, and we spent like a week together. We jammed every day. We hung out, like and at the end of the week, they, offered me the gig.
That's so
But it
cool.
was cool. It was just done in such an organic, rad way.
Yeah, it
It
wasn't
never
like
felt like I'm at an audition,
yeah, it
and
wasn't
like
like
it's
super business. It was like just like slowly it just felt right, and it morphed into it. That's freaking
Mhm.
awesome, and that's those are the best relations with band members. I feel is when it's not just business. It's like it just happens from like friends or like just good vibes and like meeting each other. So
a good organic thing. I mean, I think it's been like 8 or 9 years that I've been in the band now. It's crazy.
really, yeah, eight
It's been
years
wow.
or 8 or 9. Yeah, yeah, that's dude. So when you came in the band, was Dave back yet?
Dave wasn't back yet, but shortly like after came back. Like it was basically like, you know, I had done some shows with Derek for fun. We just booked like club shows, and
Mm-hmm.
it was he and I and a couple of buddies. Which was a good way for he and I to start learning, each other,
Mm-hmm.
how we work on stage and just all of that stuff. And the first big thing we did, like when the band was back, was the AP Music Awards, and
Okay.
that we surprised the whole crowd and brought Dave out, and
Oh
that's like
yeah,
Dave,
I remember watching that. I was like, what's
yeah.
going on? I was like, no way, dude. That was I remember that
I
him
mean,
walking on
it was
stage.
pretty much at the same time, which which kind of cool because it kind of took the spotlight off of me. It was like Dave's back. Everybody was so it was just the news, whatever. So it was like cool. I got to kind of like ease and like a lot of that pressure of like the new drummer and replacing such a big key member. I felt like all that stuff kind of wasn't such a big deal because it was like Dave's back and there was kind of that. So I don't know.
It helped you ease in there without so much light shined on you in a sense, where it was a little more maybe. No, the microscope wasn't on you maybe as much, or so.
Sure.
Very cool, man. And I think it's cool that when you guys when Dave came back, I think it's cool how the band not. I mean, I'm not saying there would be any reason to, but they kept Tom. You know, although you had Derek on guitar and then now Dave back, it's not like they were like, okay, well now we got Dave, so we don't need Tom. You know what I'm saying? Like I know the band's big friends with them, so like now they have 3 guitarists. Although I saw a recent concert video this year or last year, 2022, and Derek doesn't play guitar hardly on stage now, does he?
I mean, that's a great thing. It's like it's just the band sounds so big with
Yeah.
Dave, Tom, and when Derek, is playing, it's just like everyone's singing.
Mm-hmm.
Tom's playing a ton of keys and all that. So it's like, you know, it's just a band of amazing musicians that,
Yep.
we play live. We don't use playback and tracks. Like it's just we've got everybody that, is doing, to pull all those parts off because there's so many of us. And yeah, I think Derek just finally like felt, comfortable now that there's like, the 2 guys with guitars that he could put the
Yeah.
guitar down and be more of a front man
That's cool.
and run around the stage and have more, fun, not being, locked in with a guitar. And that's just something that wasn't even like talked about. I remember we were about to go on stage one night and he just like handed his tech back the guitar and just ran out there and just started running around the stage. And it was just something that naturally just happened. And, I think it's just all about, you know, he'll play, certain songs he has to, like, of course, Pieces and certain things where it's him. But I think in other stuff, if he's feeling it, he will. If not, and he just wants to run around and be a crazy front man, he'll do that, which is cool. It's like it's all good, and that's what's great about having a band where you've got all these great musicians.
Everyone can do everything. And
exactly, yeah.
It's crazy seeing Derek. I remember the first time I started seeing him running out without the guitar. I think it was sometimes I don't know if this around the time you guys started doing "We Will Rock You." He would run out there without the guitar, and then now I just realized I was watching that concert. I was like, dude, not that I was like he's not he gets to run around now. And the cool thing is a lot of times I've seen bands do one or the other or the singer switch back and forth, and sometimes it doesn't. One or the other doesn't work from the other, if that makes sense. Like, but with Derek, it seems like he does great running around, because for so many years he had that guitar strapped to him, but now he's just running around. It's like it's natural too.
I feel like he probably can command the audience, much more and all that without, having a thing around his neck.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I mean, it's just like I said, it's something that wasn't even talked about, just naturally happened. It was an organic thing, and it's fun. It works.
Absolutely, man. I was gonna want to talk about let's see this when you got this you kind of answered my question earlier, but I want to ask when you got into Sum 41, was there any transitional what do we call them speed bumps or anything that you had to get over from them working with Steve-O to you becoming their drummer? Was there any kind of work that had to be like gelling that had to happen, or did it all just sound perfect? Because when members switch, sometimes it has to be an adjustment phase, or was it pretty natural and quick?
I mean, it's completely different drummers, and, my whole thing is like, I'm gonna play the songs like they're supposed to be played. I'm not gonna come in and just like, do my own interpretation because it's not what the fans want to hear. It's not what me as a fan wants to hear.
Yep.
I'm gonna, respect the way that the songs are recorded, the way that they do them live, learn the album version, but then watch, videos of live, how things are, translated differently. And then obviously I'm a different person. I play different, it's just, I'm going to do me, but play respect to, the parts and all that.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, we're totally different drummers, for sure, but it works, and I think that, the only thing was just learning, the guys' chemistry on stage, especially how, this isn't two backing tracks where it's the same every time. It's like, the crowd dictates how long a breakdown is going to be, or a long outro, or we have a lot of crowd interactive stuff.
Yeah.
And it was like learning. I had to learn Derek's body language, when he wants things brought up, down, all this stuff. Like, that was like, okay, like not only do they want me to learn the entire catalog, but okay, now the way they do them live,
It's different. Yeah.
learning the body language, the segues. I mean, we have a very, very, smooth set where things are flowing. There's not,
No dead
a
spots.
lot of dead air and whatever.
Yeah.
It's very, it's a thing, so it was like learning all of that. And then what I also wanted to change up and bring in the band was, they have a lot of great like sounds and samples and loops and things on the record that had never been played live. And I was just like, I love electronics. Can I have those sounds? I want to start, playing them live.
Yeah.
So that was cool. That was different for them. That was, different for me. And it's like, learning that whole, marriage of all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, it definitely, we did serious work. It was definitely like serious work. And even when we make records, I mean, the amount of work that, goes into pre-production and all that, like it's serious, and we go hard, in all aspects to just deliver, what the fans deserve, basically.
Exactly. And you as a drummer, obviously I can see, I've seen the difference between you and Steve. I mean, like you said, you have to keep it true to the song, but the way especially a live show, there's so much else going on. Like you said, the segues into other songs. Like you guys will end a song and then you'll do like this jam session that might be just part of another song, and then it flows into the next song. So it's just a whole run of, and it's really cool. So that gives you kind of a like shows you can stretch out a little bit more while keeping true to the song. And I've noticed that, and I think it's really cool. It gives people also something a little extra than just listening to the record, because if people just play exactly like the record, it's like, I could listen to that. But the fact that you do your little stuff, very important. And I had a question with you. With you, I saw your Sweetwater interview. You were drumming with the guy. That was really cool. You mentioned when you came into the band, you kind of brought that your sample pad, or you started doing more of that stuff to bring the actual things in the song. Instead, there was no playbacks. It was just all you say, and you cue the tracks, or you cue the samples. And I had a question. This is a kind of a personal thing. I was curious. What songs what did they not have before that you add? If you don't mind saying, like the songs that you guys do, like a part of a song, because I know all your songs. I'm not gonna lie. I am a big Sum 41 fan, so I know every song. When you play live, what is added now that that wasn't there before? If you don't mind me asking.
I think like one for the most obvious one to me was like In Too Deep. That starts with a loop. It's just a loop.
Yeah.
It's a loop in the guitar. And, basically when I joined the band, we kind of just came in ripping with the intro, that with like a full band intro. There wasn't kind of that album one. And I was always like, I would love to have that loop.
Yeah.
That's just such a, you hear that.
Iconic.
You get a reaction right away because it's just such a, it's a big part of the song. So like that was one, In
Really
Too
cool.
Deep loop, for the beginning of that song. Even like Underclass Hero, same thing. There's a drum loop that opens that song, so that then when I come in, it jumps up even bigger.
Yeah.
So just like little loops.
Strings at all in any songs, or?
It's a good question. I don't know if there is. Maybe.
Sorry, not putting you on the spot.
No, maybe I'm with me. There might be a little like, because I do some like little keyboard like 1-bar loops, or I'll actually have them broken up so I can actually play them, the parts.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes I'm like with my left hand playing an actual, broken up, because obviously we have Tom with his keyboards.
Oh,
but
yeah.
sometimes if it's like something that if he's doing another part and can't do that, I'll get on that. So like I feel like it was more like on the last two records, there were certain things like in both in Order and Decline and 13 Voices, the two intro songs on that record had a lot of really cool synthy loops or kind of stuff like that that I was, literally firing,
Mm-hmm.
or, if it was like a 1 bar loop, or if it was actually like broken up for me to play, which that's been the cool thing too, is if like, sometimes, I'm more about, I want the sonics of the band to, come through. So if there's like some fill or something that I physically can't get to because I'm playing more of a sound that's an important part of the record,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I'll get rid of that fill or modify it, simpler so I can pull up those sound. Like
Yeah.
to me, it's about more of the sound than like my ego just for some like
Yeah.
lick.
Totally.
It's like that's just kind of where I come from. I mean, I love, electronics, electronic gear. And it's just been fun to just kind of, bring that element and certain things into the band. I mean, it's honestly very minimal because most of the stuff is just raw punk and rock and
Yeah.
metal songs.
Yep.
But on certain songs and those things come in, it's tasty, and it's tucked in
Absolutely.
the mix, but fills it out, and it's cool.
Yeah, and people like that little stuff because that's that little ear candy, man. That's super important. Super cool that you
For
brought
sure.
that in there. And you also mentioned you do like a drum spot, and the lights are set to your drums, and you cue that, or basically whatever you do, it just sets the lights off. So you got all this like technology going on around you. Could you explain your light show that you do with your drums?
Yeah, we haven't done that since we've been back,
Okay,
because we were more on like this whole anniversary tour.
got you.
But previously, on I believe like 2 tours, our lighting designer that we were working at the time said, "Dude, there's a way that with MIDI, I can have you triggering some of the lights." So basically, when I was doing a drum solo on those tours, when it came to the part where I just kind of went nuts, like I play off the cuff because I just want it to be organic and not so rehearsed because it's a solo. It's a feeling, it's a vibe, it's a thing. So he
Hmm.
was like, I'm not gonna, because you're changing it up, I'm not gonna be like nailing everything
Yeah,
because you're doing organic.
yeah.
I'm gonna let you drive the lights.
Yeah.
So literally, we sat in production rehearsals, and this kick drum controlled that light. This kick drum controlled that. The snare was the strobes.
That's
So
crazy.
when we would get to that part of the solo, I was fucking driving the light show because of MIDI and the way that he had the shit programmed. And then there'd be certain parts of certain songs, like if it was like a crazy fast snare and he wanted it to be super super tight with the lighting, I would be triggering the strobes, on certain things. So that was really cool. Like we got to geek out and do that. We haven't done that, since we've been back. Yeah, but that was something that was pretty rad that we were doing for sure.
Definitely, man. That is cool, and maybe you'll bring that back one day too. So,
Yeah.
yeah, dude. So for Sum 41, you came in, you did 13 voices, and you did Order and Decline. Now, I say I tread lightly with this because I know you can't always unveil anything. But is there work being done right now for a new album, possibly for Sum 41?
Yeah, no, we announced it. We, towards, the end of the pandemic, we went in the studio and wound up writing a double record.
Oh,
Um, and we announced it. It's called Heaven and Hell.
that's right.
Heaven
That's right. I remember
Heaven
hearing that. I'm
Side,
so sorry.
pop
Shit.
punk, all good, and the Hell side's like metal.
Oh wow.
Um, and basically then we had to stop because we started touring so much, and then Derek wrote more songs. So then we went back in the studio, recorded some more stuff. So basically trying to finish up the record, now.
Gotcha.
And there's no release plans or anything yet because
Okay.
it's just like get the record done and
Don't
then we'll
rush it. Yeah, yeah. Sometimes
uh,
you try to say, oh, we'll have an album out. We're having an album out this, and then you feel like you got to make it happen by then. But it's better not to announce anything officially until you know. So.
yeah, and it's just taken longer because it's a beast, it's a double record,
Oh
and it's
yeah, like what, 24 songs or
you know
something?
I mean, I recorded 7 days straight worth of drums. I mean, it was a
Jeez.
lot we recorded. So I've never done that in this band before. I mean, we
Wow.
we went for it, and I think like, you know, just focus on making it amazing, incredible, all that, and then figure out the rest once it's done. But it's a big thing
Oh
to
yeah.
have dual records. But like, I will say it's like it's the songs are incredible. It's when I got those demos, after us being away for a while, it's the longest we weren't, working since I got in the band. When I got in the band, we were go, go, go,
Yeah,
go
yeah.
until basically until the pandemic. And it was just like the feeling and emotion to hear those songs and then to actually like start playing them and working on them. It was just like, you know, it's just Derek had some really incredible, you know, songwriting on this stuff. And, I can't wait to hear it when it's done. And like, I think people are gonna, the fans are just gonna be stoked to
Oh
hear
yeah,
this
dude.
because it's, the pop punk stuff, we haven't done in a long time.
Oh,
So
so
it's like
that's gonna be on there, huh? Pop punk.
pop punk is the hell side. I mean, the heaven side and
Oh,
hell's on.
oh, okay, okay. Because at first I was wondering if the hell side was just gonna be the metal stuff, and then the heaven side would be like acoustics, piano, ballads, just a bunch of ballads. But
Pop punk side,
oh,
yeah.
good. Oh man, dude,
Yeah.
I'm a fan, so I'm stoked. 2 albums, so that's gonna give plenty of songs, new stuff to put in there, and you guys have such
Sure.
a arsenal of songs, so I'm looking forward to that, dude. Hell yeah. We don't got too much time with you left. It looks like we got. Yeah, so if you don't mind, we'll just kind of get to the rest of the set list if you're cool with that. And dude, absolutely, man. Sum 41, and I'm not just saying this because you're our guest. Has been a big. I've been a big fan of you of the band since 2002 when I first heard Still Waiting, and I went and bought Does This Look Infected, and then been a huge fan ever since. So, well, segueing into the third part of the set list is basically we're going to talk about gear talk, which is and you don't have to elaborate too much on it if you don't want. We just want to talk about what gear you use. I know it's SJC is your main drums, and like what maybe a little in detail on that especially for the musicians listening.
Yeah, I mean, we've got 2 rigs out because of just all the logistics and touring. So I've got what I started touring last year. I've got just this rad like throwback looking kit that's blue and red. That's one of the rigs that's out. And then I've got this beautiful Shepherd Ferry, Obey Giant artwork that he designed
Oh, cool.
on the other rig. So 2 completely different, vibes and looks and all
Yeah.
that. Those are my 2 current rigs. And then everything else on the rigs, the drum sizes, the shells, they're all the same. Just the finishes are different. Everything else is identical. All the Zildjian cymbals,
Gotcha.
Remo heads, Roland electronics. I use DW hardware racks and
Okay.
all that stuff. And then Roland, electronics, I think I just said, and then head drumsticks. So yeah, man, I've been using all this gear for a long time.
Awesome.
Companies are amazing, so supportive and, just always there for me. And, it's just, it's
yeah.
great. It's
Absolutely.
great.
Couple questions about your gear. This might be like small stuff, but I'm curious, I guess, as me always wondering. I've seen you drum with gloves and without gloves. I know I guess you can call that equipment part of the show, gear talk. But is there a preference anymore, or because I've seen you without them and with them?
I mean, pretty much with them, just because, it's just with the grip reason, protecting my hands. I never wore gloves until I got in street drum corps, and I had to because we're, hitting oil drums and kegs and metallic things that are busted open and, just to protect your hands from getting cut up. And also, we're playing with like marching sticks on this industrial gear. It's like just trying to save my hands. And I just kind of just got used to them, and it's just part of my thing now.
And it's like also like it's just you're probably so used to having them that even if you could probably drum without them, obviously, but it wouldn't feel the same. Like that's
Sure.
small muscle memory.
Yeah.
Being this is kind of your Does This Look Infected tour that you guys did, the anniversary 15 years. You had that drum set that was themed with Does This Look Infected. It's pretty sick. Has the green splatters on it. Has the album on the on both drum heads, kick drum heads. And then I saw you have the drum kit, the blue and red, which is kind of the all killer no filler look.
Yeah.
And that's really cool. I like how you do the themes. Did you do that with every? Have you done that with Order and Decline? Did it have its own theme, or 13 Voices? Did
You
it
know
have?
what? No. For like the special anniversaries, I've themed it. But all the other kits were pretty much, we worked with incredible street artist Shepard Fairey, and we designed some incredible kits
Yeah.
that I used for those tour cycles of the 13 Voices and Order and Decline. That wasn't themed. Probably for Heaven and Hell because it's a double record and it's a,
Yeah.
it's got its thing. We'll do. I was just with the owner of SJC, and we're starting to have talks about what that could look like and
Oh
feel like, but
yeah.
still have to see what the
Yeah.
art direction is and all that. But
Gotcha.
I feel like that would be the record to
Yeah.
really theme something for, because that could be really fun in so many ways for
That
sure.
that would be cool. Like half the drum kits to hell, half the two kick drums, one's heaven, one's hell. That'd be pretty sick. I mean, maybe that's
Totally.
already an idea, but I
Yeah.
could.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
That'd be pretty badass. So very cool, man. Yeah, and like I said, we gotta. I know you're a busy man, so let's jump into the next part of the set list if that's cool. If you can give us, do you think you can give us a show horror story? Something. I mean, not to make you vulnerable on anything in the past, but like something that's happened maybe at a show or a gig or touring. That's just a story, a good story to tell. But man, that kind of sucked.
Yeah, I mean, what's funny? I really don't have any of those in Sum 41. Like, it's
Oh
just,
yeah,
we've had like
little stuff.
production fails, just shit happen that's like Spinal Tappy,
Yeah.
but like nothing that, there's been nothing that was like that I could think of
Really?
that's been like,
Like,
I think the biggest thing is like the coolest thing is, on one of the tours, we, as a surprise, and obviously, you do it once, it gets out on social media and YouTube and shit. We finished our set, fucking house lights went on, outro music went on, and literally everyone's gone. There's like the first two rows of people kind of just like still waiting for a set list or maybe text to throw out a pick or something. And then we came out as friggin' Pain for Pleasure. And we're playing to like, you go from a venue that's fully sold out to like two rows of people. And then people started staying because they knew it was going to happen. But then we wouldn't do it every night to fuck with people, just like it was, you kind of had to be there or wait it out or whatever. So that was kind of funny. And then people that didn't understand, like newer fans that didn't know Pain for Pleasure or what that was, would be like, the fuck is going on right now? These guys are just maniacs. And like, I mean, those guys are such incredible, like, game face. When they come out as Pain for Pleasure, they're fucking in character.
they're Pain for Pleasure. They're not Sum 41 anymore.
Dude, they crack me up. I cannot keep a straight face because they try to outdo themselves on stage every night, and the shit they do. Like the last tour we had done, I believe in America, maybe on the first tour kind of back, there was one show where Dave started taking everyone's fucking instruments away from them. So by the song was over, he's got everyone's guitars around his neck, and he's doing the ending on every guitar.
What?
And I'm like, you're a fucking maniac. Like, it was just so off the cuff, and the shit that would happen, those are just like such great whenever we do that, it's just always, you
don't know what's going to happen, I'm sure. It's like, I saw that you back in, let's see, back in 2009, you filled in for Tommy Lee with Motley Crue. So Pain for Pleasure is kind of more Motley Crue than Motley Crue, you would say?
I mean, like Pain for Pleasure is the reject band from that era.
That scene. I've seen the videos. Yeah, they're the band that just didn't quite make it, but yeah.
But yeah, that was that's probably the best story of just like gig experiences or any of that. Was just getting to fill in for Tommy and like just getting thrown in. No rehearsal, no sound check, no nothing. Just you're on stage tonight, you're in the band, you just got here off the fucking plane, let's go.
How was that?
And the most incredible thing I've ever done. I mean, it was insane. I mean, it's the band that inspired me to do music. It's my favorite band in the world, and I still don't believe it happened. It was just like I got to share it with my family who took me to see that first show when I was so young, and I mean, and like the full circle just continues. I just took my son to see them this past summer,
Nice.
and it's his favorite band now.
That's crazy.
I didn't force on him. He wanted to go, and just seeing the look in his eye, and his face watching that show, it was a trip, man. It was so rad.
That is sick, dude. And how many shows did you fill in for?
It was like I feel like it was maybe almost 2 weeks, but like,
Oh wow.
not it was a good amount of shows. I don't know, maybe it was like 5 to 7 shows or something like that. I was doing the whole shows, and then when his hand got a little bit better, I would do the first part of the show, he'd do the second part, and then I kind of had to stay for like 2 shows when he did full shows to make sure he was totally okay if he
Gotcha.
needed to tap out, because I mean he burned his hands really really
Oh
bad, that
jeez.
as a drummer, trying to
Yeah.
hold sticks and hit things while they're trying to heal is just not an
Oh dude,
option.
yeah,
So
that would be
um,
chaos on your hands, like ripping them up,
yeah,
especially.
it's bad.
Oh boy. Um, dude, yeah, that is awesome. Doing filling in for Tommy Lee. Not many people can say they've done that. That's for sure. So that's definitely freaking badass. Yeah, so that's good that you don't have too many horror stories for a show. I've heard, like I said, we've heard some pretty bad ones on the show, and that's kind of now a staple. We always ask the headliner. We go, hey, you got to show horror stories. So that's good that you haven't had too many horrible ones. And thank you for sharing on that, dude. That's freaking awesome. Yeah, so let's just get into the fifth part of the set list. The extra Q&As. I've kind of jotted out some extra questions I would like to know. You were, let's see, you had a stint in, it was 2012 to 2013 with Dead by Sunrise. How was that? If you don't mind elaborating on that.
So yeah, I mean, I played with Julian K for a while. That's Ryan and Amir from Orgy, who were also in Dead by Sunrise. And they're dear friends. I actually just saw Ryan recently. And we I did a lot of touring, music videos, all that with Julian K. And then, the kind of I was kind of rallying to do some stuff with Dead by Sunrise, and we were going to do some pop-up shows, and all this stuff was potentially in the works, and obviously Chester passed, and that was that.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't get to like tour. I worked with Chester in Lincoln Park with Street Drum Corps. We toured
Oh wow,
their whole Project Revolution tour. We were part of their show.
that's crazy.
We were their intros, outros, part of the show. So, I've got a very long history with Chester, and then with, Ryan and Amir. So it's just, we've all just kind of done this and done stuff separately, been friends forever. And, we're trying to rally to get Dead by Sunrise going again, and everyone
awesome.
was kind of ready to go, and
Yeah.
unfortunately that never got to happen.
Yeah, that was definitely probably the most tragic loss I can think of for music in my life, actually, when I heard about that, all that stuff. So were you pretty close friends with Chester, or you guys talk quite a bit, or
Absolutely.
that's
For a
really
long time, man. And it's like, the other day, because they're doing the reissue for
yeah,
Meteora, and that new single came out.
awesome,
And
love it.
dude, like I haven't heard his voice in a while, and like hearing his
It's
voice
like God damn.
just brought back so much shit. And I'm just like, I wish I can call my friend right now. It's just, and then I'm like hearing his voice, and I'm like, it's fucking one of the best
Jeez,
of all time.
dude.
It's like,
I,
dude is just so fucking talented, and such an incredible human. He's just done so much for me, in my life, and was just a great friend too,
yeah,
and supporter.
yeah, I
It's
bet.
like just the whole Linkin Park family is incredible, and I'm just
Yeah.
grateful for the amazing times I've had with them.
Definitely, man, and that was really cool. When was it shortly after Chester's passing? You guys had Mike Shinoda come out and play with you guys, right, on tour, or for a song you guys did off Meteora, correct?
We did Faint.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Faint, yeah.
we were on Reading and Leeds on the main stage,
Oh
and so
yeah,
was Mike Shinoda. So I was like, Mike,
dude.
I was like, because I was doing, after Chester passed, I was doing like a Linkin Park tribute in my drum solo,
Oh, cool.
and I was doing Faint, And I was like, Mike, we're on the same stage. Festivals, it's Reading one day leads the next day. Like, you know, let's do something. Let's do Faint. So we did it. We surprised the whole audience.
Dude.
We finished Fat Lip and went right into it.
And he
And
sounded good. It sounded really
it
good.
was awesome, man.
That was
Yeah.
freaking
And
goosebumps.
Derek and I got to be part of the Chester Memorial Show at the Hollywood Bowl, which was so incredible and special to be part of that and honor him and all that. That was a really special one. And like
Incredible.
that was like another crazy one to be playing a bucket list venue, to be honoring my friend. And then like, I got to play the song with Linkin Park and System of a Down. System is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Got to do the song with Linkin Park and Steve Aoki. Did one with Derek, then did one with Linkin Park. What a time, man.
Wow,
it was
dude.
really special.
On the memorial show, did you guys do Faint there as well?
We did not. They did it with somebody else.
Okay.
I think maybe Matt from Avenged Sevenfold sold it.
Oh.
We did this after that. That was
okay.
Yeah, down the road because because then there was still some time, and then Mike put out his solo stuff and then started touring, and that's when we did the festivals together.
I mean, obviously, you guys, with all respect to Linkin Park, of course, you guys freaking nailed that song. You guys, it sounded almost like the original. I was actually not too long ago. I listened to that. On YouTube, I was watching that video. And I'm like, man, and Derek sounds really close to Chester with the singing parts.
Their range is very similar, man.
Yeah,
it's crazy. That's like, when Derek did the Catalyst at the Hollywood Bowl. That was last minute. That was the last minute song edition. Derek didn't. We were at rehearsals.
Oh wow!
And a soundstage previously. Like Derek didn't get to do any of that. He came in like literally overnight, and we did it at sound check. And when he fucking started singing, the whole band just turned to me and were like, "Holy shit!" It was a pretty special thing. It was just for me. It was so proud. I'm like, that's my singer.
Yeah, dude. He
pretty rad.
Nailed it, man. Nailed the song. Actually, it was funny. I was waiting for when I was watching that Faint. I was waiting for Derek to do the scream part, and I was waiting. I was like, "Oh, dude, man."
Oh yeah, we only did because we had our set wasn't that long there, so we just put in Faint. A bit of it at the end, like snuck that in. So it was like we even cut Fat Lip, I think, short to add that in because we had maybe a 45-minute or an hour set at that festival. But I mean, Derek can scream his ass off for sure.
Dude, that was an epic cover for sure. So I have a question real quick. Do you have how much more time do you think you got? Could you I know we're about at the hour point. Do you need to head on out, or can we keep you for maybe 5, 10, 15 more minutes?
Yeah, probably a little bit, and then I gotta go grab my kids. That's
gotcha.
Why.
Oh yeah, totally, man, totally. So I'll just do a couple more Q&As, and then we can just get on out of here, man. Dude. So, do you have any? This is kind of just fun questions for you. Any pre-show rituals you like to do?
It's a whole 2-hour journey.
Yeah.
To just get ready to go and be completely loose for that. And it's just a lot of cardio, drumming, icing. I have like a plunge tub back there thing, the bucket to ice. It's like just all breath work, to get amped up. I mean, it's literally a 2-hour process that once it starts, it's like, oh shit, it's time to go. Like you just go down this like dark hole of just getting ready,
zoning out.
Exactly. And even after the show, it's the same thing. So yeah, I mean, it's just more just health stuff, just to be ready to get out there and be good.
Perfect, man. I'll do one last question on the Q&A section, and then we'll get to the closures and plugins, just for fun, just to kind of keep it light. What do you, if you don't mind saying, this is kind of a switch from what we've been talking about, what do you like to, let's say, nerd out on? We usually have a segment of the show called the Nerd Out section, which, the guests will talk about something they do. It could be video games, could be cars, could be reading. Do you have anything you like to do that's kind of, you say is like your nerdy side?
I mean, it's just health stuff, going down the rabbit hole of just new workouts, new training techniques, new,
do you do things to work kickboxing or boxing or MMA or something? I saw you.
Boxing. I do
Yeah.
boxing. I do weight training. I run a shit ton.
That's awesome.
You know, um, so it's just like, finding new trainers or training with new
Gotcha.
trainers or whatever it may be. And then like just a lot of, reading. I love, I fell in love with reading a couple years ago again.
Gotcha.
Just like learning, just constantly trying to learn more about, everything from, breath work to, mental
Gotcha.
stuff.
So health nerd stuff or health nut stuff, whatever they want to call it.
Totally. Yeah. I
That's
mean, those are
awesome.
like the podcasts I listen to. Like, even now when I'm training and I'm in the gym and I'm traveling, like I'm more podcast because I just need to give my ears a break because it's so fucking loud,
Yeah.
with shows and everything. So it's more just, podcasts just to learn. And then sometimes, I'll just want to just like not listen to something so heavy. So I'll listen to like, fun podcasts like, Bert Kreischer or like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, their podcast, just like
That's cool.
fun shit that you can just like, just feel good, feel good, just not heavy, kind of stuff.
Take a break from the chaos.
For sure.
Right on, Frank. That'll do it for the Q&A, man. Let's get to the last part of the show, closures and plugins. So basically, if you don't mind, just maybe saying if you got anything last that you want to tell the people watching right now, what they would can check maybe check you out on things or what to be looking for, what's going on. Is there anything you want to plug in for anyone to check out?
Stay tuned to socials. Going to be releasing a bunch of new music releases, soon. More shows, solo workshops, all that stuff. Our tour schedule's already up. We're off to Asia soon.
Jeez.
Then European festivals in June. We're doing When We Were Young festival in Vegas in October. We'll be hopefully sooner than later announcing music release stuff.
Cool.
So it's a busy year, and
a lot of
obviously
things.
you need to find out, with the easy social media world to find out information.
Yeah, exactly. And I'll just say this to everyone watching, guys, check out Frank Zummo on Instagram. Check Sum 41 out. Everybody loves Sum 41, so go check them out on Instagram, and everyone knows it. You don't even have to say it anymore. It's like social media, YouTube, everything. It's everyone. I'll be keeping an eye on what the new album and everything you're doing, man. Dude, that's for the most part. That kind of concludes the podcast. I appreciate your time, Frank. Thank you so much. Dude. Everybody, like I said, check him out. Check Frank out. Everything he's doing. I was about to say them all, but there's like a million things you do. So like, check everything out Frank does on his Instagram. And dude, we appreciate you. It showed your character too by you coming on to this podcast. Like I said, you've done it all. You've done a million things. You're busy, man. And to do a growing podcast like us, Frank, I really, really appreciate it. It shows your integrity.
Man. I mean, you hit me up a while ago, and the timing didn't work out with touring and all that. So yeah, I'm glad we, scheduled it when I was actually home and had a chance to, give you the time to do this proper. So I know it's been a while back and forth, and I haven't been doing any, podcasts or press because it's kind of things have been quiet because I've just been focused on the creative and the workshops with the kids and all that kind of stuff. But it's good to jump on and be back and keep doing what you're doing, man. You got its own unique thing here, which makes you stand out from the rest. Yeah,
thank you, man. And I really appreciate that. It means a lot that you came on. Like I said, we're a newer podcast, you could say, and we're growing. So like I said, this is only episode 12, and we got you on the show, and it's freaking awesome. So thanks again so much. And thanks for giving all the info, man, and being with us for a little over an hour. I know you got to get going to get your kids and stuff. So Frank,
duty calls.
What's that?
That duty calls.
Oh, I told you, man. All right. Well, thank you, Frank, everybody. Thanks for watching episode 12. Frank Zummo on. And that's it, guys. So check the episode out and more to come. Let's go. Rock out.